Hey, everybody, welcome to After Wine School. Once again, it's our podcast. I'm Keith Wallace, my partner, Alana Zerbe. We are both on the board of directors of the National Wine School and teach at the Wine School of Philadelphia. It is awesome to be here today because what we're going to talk about, the five wine myths. That just suck. We hate them. Why do we hate them so much?
They cost people money.
That's what it is. Because it's that thing, decreased enjoyment. These are not good.
Yeah, these are 5 wine myths that you can definitely disregard.
All right. So which one are you throwing at me first?
We're going to start with a big one. It's that expensive wines are always better.
Oh, yes. Nope. Next one. Okay. So I should talk a little bit more about that, I guess. All right. From that laughter. Okay. Here's the thing. Depending on where you buy and how famous that place is, it's going to dictate how much you're paying. Price changes by region. So, for instance, we all know Napa cabs are amazing. They are awesome. I love making them. I love drinking them. Those big, unctuous, oaked to near extinction level. Yes. Amazing. But here is the problem. Really good ones cost like $200, $300 easily. So I don't mind when people buy me those wines. I don't mind when other people pull them out of their wine cellar. Fantastic. But when I'm buying, I want the same bang for my buck, but a lot less money. Yeah.
So what you're saying, Keith, the myth is not buy your wine professor's expensive wines. That's not a myth. Go right ahead.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
just to be clear.
Yeah. No.
We'll accept.
Oh, those are fantastic and absolutely delightful. And, to be honest, when people give me those, I don't drink them at home. What I do is I actually save them, and I let them know I'm going to do this. And I'm going to share them with the class because those are worth sharing. But if I'm buying for myself, I'm not going Napa. I'm actually going Washington State. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go to Columbia Valley and then specifically this small AVA within Columbia Valley called Red Mountain. Their cabs are extraordinary, and I can spend $30 to $50 for the comparable quality of that Napa cab. That's like $250.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's what I want to do. There's always a place to get as good quality for a lot less money.
I forgot how much you love Red Mountain.
I do. They're legit awesome. And not to mention, all of Columbia Valley is fantastic. When I teach winemaking to my students, I always use Washington State wines. I try to. Sometimes I'll have to use California, but if I really want great, Carmenere or Cabernet Franc, oh my God, it has to be from Washington State. It's
Beautiful.
Just remarkable wines.
Yeah. So it is not about the winemaking, is what you're saying, that when wines are expensive, you are
Absolutely.
paying for the land costs, the labor costs, the branding, the marketing. And so you can go off the grid a little bit to an area that's less well known, where you will find some supremely talented winemakers who are putting out beautiful wine for a fraction of the cost.
Oh God. Oh, absolutely. Because even in France, Bordeaux, especially from the commune of Margaux, they're always going to be expensive because they're famous.
Mm-hmm.
Fame equals increased cost. That's just the way it is. The opposite is true too, though. If a place has a really bad reputation, the costs go down.
Mm-hmm.
It's the way it is. But there's also this thing, and this is if you want to spend more money, there is actually a benefit to that.
Tell me about this. This is interesting.
Yeah, it's called price bias. So no matter what, if you think a wine is more expensive, you are going to enjoy it more. And I've done this. Do not do this at home. Don't do this with your friends because everyone gets their feelings hurt. But I did this when I was training a team of winemakers and their staff, right? And so it's the winemaker, assistant winemaker, some of their cellar rats, some of the management was there. And what I was showing them this whole concept of price bias. And I had one bottle that was this really fancy bottle and beautiful. And then I had this other one that just looked like average, like something you'd buy at a grocery store.
Mm-hmm.
And so I poured them side by side and asked them to rate them. Everyone rated this really expensive looking wine much higher.
Mm.
But the reveal was that they were the same wine.
Wow.
And that was brutal because these were professionals. These were legit great winemakers and winemaking team. They were a little upset by that.
Yeah,
That was,
absolutely.
yeah. So I'm not gonna do that again. Don't piss off your clients. Rule number one. But yeah, that was really intense. So yeah, this is a real thing.
But you can play with that idea
Yeah.
a little bit
Yes.
and recognize that if you want to impress somebody
Oh yeah.
or you want to prime somebody to feel really good about the wine you're bringing, then spending a little more, recognize you'll get a little more buy-in.
Oh
That
yeah.
that's just basic human psychology.
Oh yeah. And it's like all the little things about that bottle,
Yeah.
like how heavy it
Yeah.
is, if there's like gold or if there's some sort of medallion embedded within the glass
Yes.
itself. Those things, yeah, they go a long way for people think, ooh,
Oh,
fancy.
The signature of the winemaker is one of my favorites.
Yeah,
on the
that's always,
label.
yeah. Could you imagine my signature? My signature looks like someone just, like a cockroach had a stroke.
Yeah. It would be a deterrent.
It
in
would
your
be, they're like,
instance.
nope, yeah.
Your name has never appeared on a wine label.
Actually, my name did, but
Your
it,
name,
yeah,
not
but
your
not,
script.
no, my script. No, and I mean, I'm embarrassed every time, like, I have to sign anything. When I had my book came out and I signed, it was just like, I gotta learn how to sign my name better. This is awful.
Well, it's an interesting concept too, because if you really think about it, one of my favorite topics, as you know, in wine is wine fraud. And
Yes,
just
yes.
how much counterfeit wine is out there, especially in the fine wine market.
Yeah,
And if expensive wine was always better,
you're right.
then folks who are very savvy, very fortunate consumers, they would be able to tell right away when a wine is counterfeit just by tasting it. But that's not the case.
Oh, ever? No, actually. So they're one of the best. So mind you, you go to a wine shop, you're not going to find a bottle that's faked. Like nothing in your wine shop is fake. This is actually for those elite of elites that are spending thousands of dollars, tens of thousands of dollars on collectible wines, like first growths from the 80s and 70s. That's who we're talking about. So just be clear,
Right.
this is a rich people's problem. And like the uber rich, right? These are the
These are the whales.
The
These
whales,
are-
yeah.
Yes.
And yeah, and you're right, because one of the beautiful things with the price bias is that when you see that really expensive bottle they spent $10,000 on, it's going to be, you're gonna think it's amazing, and it doesn't really matter what's in the bottle. And actually, so I do have a story about this because we get some big wig CEOs in class, and he was taking one of our sommelier programs, and he had actually bought on auction, and it was legit. It was not a fake bottle, and the reason I know that was because of everything that was wrong about that wine. First off, the cork. That was a horror show.
Mm.
Like, I am really good at opening bottles.
Yeah.
I've had to do it with cameras on me because I was in the middle of a deposition. So I had to open up like hundreds of bottles with corks. But this one, as I was pulling it out, I mean, it's just completely shattering,
Mhm,
awful. Just as I'm pulling it out, it's like kind of turning to dust. And I smelled it. I'm like, I know, like this thing is going to be everyone's worst experience ever for wine, because I poured it and everyone tried it, and you could tell the people, my best students, the ones who really thought for themselves, they knew immediately that this was just garbage. It tasted like vinegar. It tasted like something died in that bottle. Like it was just, there was really almost no fruit left. It was very thin and reedy and weedy, and there was this one flavor that I'll let you talk about that in a second.
Mhm.
I'll throw that to you
Mhm.
because you were telling me about the research
Mhm.
recently about that. But here's the thing: half the class couldn't tell that it was trash. They were like, "Oh, this is amazing," and then the really good half of the class were like, "Oh my God, this is awful."
Mhm.
And that was like, that's what you expect from these. That was like from the 80s, like an old bottle of first growth Bordeaux. It was terrible. Yeah, so that whole marketplace, it's really terrible for the most part. Now there are some really great ones out there. I'm not saying that, but for the most part, let them buy those wines, and we'll enjoy some younger wines. So what was
Yeah.
that research you taught?
Oh, we're gonna get to that.
Okay, good,
Well,
good,
I'm
good,
gonna
good.
save that for a little bit later.
Oh, you are?
because-
Oh,
yes,
good. Okay,
yeah,
all right,
no, that's a fun
fantastic.
topic.
That is.
So no, I think we've covered it. The point is, expensive does not always mean better.
Oh no.
Forget that. For all the reasons that we just talked about.
Yeah, that's fantastic. All right, okay, then throw me the next myth.
Myth number 2.
Yeah.
Cheap wine is always bad.
Oh, and that's the inverse.
That's the inverse.
All right. No. All right. Because we're using cheap here. It's a little tricky because, like, yeah, inexpensive wines. Like,
Inexpensive.
you know, like cheap. Like, there's plenty of, like, what I call cheap wines, which are just mass produced. But what we're really talking about is inexpensive. Those, you know, $10, $15 bottles of wine. Oh, there are so many good ones. And the hard bit is that if you have to know all the places that make great wines and that nobody else knows, right? You have to know those. And so if everyone else knows them, or if you read about it in a magazine, they're already over. They're already climbing in price point at that stage. So, for instance, there's a little region in Portugal called Dao, D-A-O. These are fantastic wines. Now, they're famous in Portugal, but they have a bad reputation everywhere else, largely because they used to make like jug wine. Like, it was a place where a lot of mass-produced wines were made and sent out. They stopped that decades ago, and they doubled down on fine winemaking, which they excel at. And those wines are $10, $15 a bottle, and they are extraordinary. But similar wine of similar quality, say from Bordeaux, is going to be around $30 to $40. So with similar characteristics, similar structure, similar winemaking techniques. So yeah, 15 versus 30, $40. And I'm not expecting people to know this because obviously you'd have to call me up every time you're buying a bottle, and I don't want that. I don't even let you do that. So okay. So here's how we do this. This is the great hack. You walk into a wine shop that you know and respect, that you know they know their stuff. You walk in and you ask the associate what she or he likes for under $15. What do they think is the greatest wine buy under $15? You're not asking them what their favorite wine is because they're going to show you something in hundreds or 50 or also something very geeky. But what you're asking them is what they think is the best bang for the price. What's the best wine they have? Because that's going to change every month as things come in. There's going to be something new, maybe small production. That's really a good price point. They're going to know that. That's what you ask. Like, hey, what do you have that's really great in the $15 price range? You're being honest about what price you want, and it gives them a challenge. Everyone in the wine trade loves to be able to show off how good they are at finding the deal.
Yeah, it gets people excited. They want to share that typically.
Oh, absolutely. And, you know, we're all wired to need to find that because the truth is, whether you're a sommelier or a wine buyer, big part of your job is to find the best wines possible for the lowest price point that you can offer your customers. Because if you can do that, you have much more loyal customers. And in the world of wine, if things aren't selling for a good price, people aren't going to buy them. So people always, and that's it for everybody. For the luxury market, the mid-tier, and the value markets, everyone's looking for great wines for a good deal. So just ask them. Weaponize their own knowledge and their own skill sets to help you out.
Love it.
Yeah, right?
That's great. We're up to number 3 already.
Fantastic.
Keith.
Hey, that's great.
I think you have this one.
Oh, you're right. So, Alana, is this thing, is this snobbery? Is swirling wine? Yeah. Oh, hold on, wait a second. How do I do the? Can do it? Yeah. Yeah.
Is swirling
Yeah.
snobby or wrong to do? Absolutely not.
All right.
Swirling is fantastic.
Really?
Yes.
Why?
Swirling is a delight.
Well, tell me why. Tell me.
All right. Well, we could talk about the science right off the bat. The science is that you do need exposure to oxygen for the aromatic compounds in your wine to volatilize, to reach your olfactory system. And that's where you're going to get to experience the layers of fruit and earth and floral notes and spice that makes us all fall in love with wine. So oxygen needs to come in contact with your wine so that you can smell it. Swirling is the way to activate that.
Yeah, and there's something that you've always said. It's something that's very interesting. I never talk about it in class, but you do, and it's really interesting, is that some people are nose dominant or some people are palate dominant.
Why do you think I talk about that? Because I'm nose dominant and you're palate dominant.
Yeah, which I think is fantastic.
And it confused our students
early
on.
I didn't realize that. Yeah, that makes so much sense.
Because they get confused and they can think in some ways we might be contradictory. And it's no.
Yeah.
You may be on the spectrum, we may be on the spectrum in many ways, but you may be more nose dominant or palate dominant.
Yeah.
That's why I started talking about that.
Well, because it's really brilliant. But
Well,
no matter
thank you.
what, yeah, it is. It really is. Because swirling and tasting, it doesn't matter whether you're smelling or tasting. 80% of taste is smell, actually. And what I mean by that is we don't really taste with our tongues. We don't taste things that are solids or liquids. They have to be vapors. That's what we're actually tasting. That's how our palate works. How whenever you're chewing anything, swallowing anything, you taste as things become volatilized. Like you said, I love that word. But I use vapor because it's just, I can say it easier.
Well, you have a science background. I don't. So
Yeah.
I get to, when I get to
Is
use
that what it
words
is?
like that,
Yeah.
I have another one coming up. Yeah.
Okay. All right. But also what's happening, like since you brought science, is oxygen actually binds with sulfur compounds in wine. There's lots of them. There should be there. They're very good for us or good for flavor. But some of them, when they bind with oxygen, they actually become volatile. They start raising up, but also esters do. We're actually changing the components of the wine itself because your wine has been locked in an anaerobic environment for so long. It actually needs that oxygen to start these processes up and to actually really get wines to their maximum flavor. And yeah, you could decant, sure, but swirling is really key, really key. Yeah.
Now, Keith, is there any time that you do not swirl your wine?
Oh yeah, of course. I mean, every human being knows on the face of the earth, and I'm saying this, I know what Alana's gonna say. One does not swirl champagne because it swirls itself for you. The bubbles are coming out. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to force the aromatics out of the glass.
I can't help it. I can't stop. I love, even for my bubbles, to give them a little swirl, a little gentle nudge.
All right. Okay, fine.
And I'll continue.
I know. It violates all the science.
We'll leave it up to our listeners to decide.
But they know I'm right.
They do.
They know I'm right. They're going to. They're going to the mat for me. I know they are. Team Keith, guys. Team Keith.
Excellent. Excellent. Well, actually, this is a perfect lead-in to the next wine myth.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm going to present this one.
Oh, all right.
Is that sommeliers are gods.
This one is.
Certainly sounds that way.
Okay, all right. No.
Okay.
No. Okay, here's the thing. There are plenty of sommeliers that really don't have certification, and they're just decided that they're a sommelier. They're like, right? And of course, as somebody, as you do, like we build sommelier exams and the credentializing, like we are in the nitty gritty of that part of the wine world. But there's a lot of sommeliers out there. Their main goal isn't to actually lift people up. It's to put people down. And everyone's met this person. Like you've met this person. I've met this person. Everyone right now, you have met this person. It's that person that makes you feel like you're an idiot, that you ask a question, they just look at you, they give you that dead stare, or they just kind of make a face when you order your wine, or when you ask them what they recommend, and what they recommend is something so awful or you feel is like it's just not to your style. Like there's that person. And what really matters, right? With people like that, just rise up and defeat them. That's my whole goal in life. I do not like that style of sommelier at all. Because what we train people to do, and what I do, and what I know what you do as well, is you have to actually see where people are at. What you have to do is reach people and make them and tickle them. Like whether if they're ordering food and wine, make that perfect for them. Not what you think it should be, but what's going to be good for them. Because everyone's at their different journey, right? So people who are new to wine or really haven't explored much wine, they're going to really want more fruit forward. They're going to want to have more pizzazz. And if someone's further on, sure, get intricate, weird, cool stuff, they're going to like that. But you got to reach people where they're at to make them fall in love with wine, not to like make yourself feel better like you're a wine god. And that's the thing that I don't like. So yeah, there are too many, self-proclaimed wine gods. So yeah, we are not gods.
And I think the bit of advice here, the salient piece to take with you, is to just put your antenna up a little bit. And the minute that somebody makes you feel less than, based on your questions or when you share what preferences you have for wine, just say to yourself, that thing I'm picking up on, that is actually telegraphing to me their
Yeah,
insecurities.
yeah.
And there's a lot of imposter syndrome in the wine world. I mean, that's just common, I think,
I think in all
anywhere,
careers.
anywhere.
Yeah, yeah.
But especially wine, people feel a lot of pressure. And so that fear can translate into defensiveness, can translate into a facade that just doesn't feel good on the part of the consumer. So just recognize that
Yeah.
that is oftentimes what's going on. Now, that is not to say that there aren't so many folks out there who want to do the complete opposite.
Oh, yeah,
And
yeah.
I had a student stay after class recently because she just had to tell me about an experience she had had at a restaurant in Toronto. I don't remember the name of it, but the som there realized that she liked really stinky wine, similar to you.
Oh, I know who this is.
Yes. Really intensely gamey. And he had just opened up a bottle of wine that he described as Ferris, which would be a sign for me to nope out.
Yeah, yeah.
That's
Yep.
not my style.
Yep.
And he said, "You don't have to like it. I just opened it. I'd love to share it with you." And, this person really transformed what was already a great night into just this fantastic memory. And so that's the journey that you can take with somebody who's really at the top of their game. But just the minute you start to feel there's that disconnect, just pull back, trust your own palate. Don't worry about what someone else might be thinking and judge for yourself.
That's fantastic. Yeah. Yeah. Trust your palate and don't drink points. Don't
Yeah.
just because a wine is highly rated,
Or status.
don't, right? No, you want to keep getting more and more interesting wines, expand your palate. You don't want to shrink, you want to expand. But yes, that's perfect. Yeah, that is actually fantastic. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I love that. So we are rounding the corner to our final myth.
Oh,
All
okay.
right.
All right.
So
Okay.
I'm going to put this to you, Keith.
All right.
Old wine is always better.
Oh, there we go. Oh, rounding back, and oh yeah, because I almost started talking about this earlier. So thank you for pulling me
Yes.
back.
You're
All right.
welcome.
Okay. No. Okay. So here's the thing about old wine. Now, it used to be like we're talking like 50 years ago. Yeah, that young wines were really raw and unapproachable. But that was a long time ago. That's like half a century ago. And even then, it was being phased out because the old way we made wines, they were very acidic and very tannic, usually for red wines. And you had to let them sit to even be approachable. But that is so far in the past. How we make wine now, the modern way, is like they're fruit forward, they're rich, they're supple, they're enjoyable right away. They're right away. If they've been released, they're going to be good. Now, and that's true. Now, sometimes putting a little time on a bottle can work. Like, for instance, 5 years. From harvest to 5 years, that's where you get your most amount of development in a bottle of red wine. That's it. But even then, if you don't have really decent storage, that's not even worthwhile to do. So no, absolutely not. And on the inverse side, most people don't like the flavors of old wines, like really old wines. Like I did talk about that, that first growth, and that was terrible. But even a wine that's like 10 years old, most people don't like it at all. Largely because of all those flavor profiles. Because one of those, like first off, a lot of things disappear. So we have your primary flavors, which are like your fruit flavors, what you get through fermentation. Your secondary flavors like oak aging, like things that the winemaker does. And then you have tertiary flavors, which is what age brings. Everyone loves primary, everyone loves secondary. Guess what disappears by the time you get to 10 years? First is all those winemaking flavors, all those delicious oak flavors, all those leesy notes, everything that the winemaker did is disappearing. And even your primary fruit flavors, they're turning into like light citrus notes, and your big, nice, pretty floral notes are becoming lighter, little delicate floral notes, and a lot of other things are happening. And then there's this one flavor that develops, And I'm throwing this to you because I know you want to talk about this.
Okay,
This is
well,
awesome.
I'm going to talk about it. I'm a little bit disappointed
Yeah?
because the word I wanted to be the first to use
Yes?
was tertiary. So you
Oh,
took
I'm
tertiary
sorry.
from
No, I did. We'll edit that out in post.
That's okay. That's okay. And I do just want to clarify the primary flavors. My understanding is primary flavors come from the fruit.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Primary. Secondary is fermentation and aging.
Yes, that's true. Yes.
And then extended aging are your tertiary aromas. And that's
Yes.
where you get leather, spice, mushrooms, a big one. But also, I was doing research on the latest fake wine scandal, and I read a profile or an article, excuse me, from a UC Davis professor
Yeah.
that said one of the reasons that these collectors actually end up enjoying what turns out to be adulterated wine is that actual aged fine wine will have the smell of canned asparagus.
Yeah.
That it is scientifically proven that there is a compound, a thiol.
They're thiols. They're sulfur compounds. Yeah.
And so if you actually get a wine that has been faked, you get rid of that canned asparagus note. And so people, consumers, even very, very sophisticated consumers, end up enjoying it more.
Okay. So from now on, now that this information is out in the open,
Yes.
now I'm just, for some reason, I feel like I have to go buy a case of canned asparagus. Because what I'm going to do is my whole new career of I'm going to be making fake fine wines, and selling them to all our students. They're like, taste the canned asparagus.
Myth number 6, you can trust your wine instructor.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my.
Well, that's great. I love this, Keith. I think
this
this
is
was
awesome.
really good.
All right. But I know you're going to do one more thing to me.
We're going to do a little feature, a little lightning round.
Okay.
Just very quickly,
All
few
right.
more quick myths
Okay.
that we would like to dispel for our friends out there.
All right. Here we go.
Yes.
All right. First off.
Yes.
Legs. No. Bad legs. No, legs are just alcohol. Stop. It's just sexist. It's bad. It's old. Stop talking about legs. Okay. Screw top caps. Those are Stelvin enclosures. They're actually fantastic. Yes, they're good. They don't mean they're cheap wines. Entire countries are using screw top caps. They're fantastic, especially because we drink our wines young now, people. Three wine glasses. Stop buying overly expensive wine glasses. I've been in a wine shop where someone was buying box wines in really expensive wine glasses, and I asked them, like, "Are you drinking that wine in those glasses?" And they looked at me very smugly, like, "Of course we are." I was like, "Oh my God, what's wrong with you people? Stop it! No, spend the money on the wine, not the glass." And finally, okay, here's the thing. Okay. White wine does not have lower calories than red wine.
Yeah.
It doesn't. There is no hidden calories in red wine. It's just from the alcohol content. And so you look at the alcohol content, you can get a general idea what the calories are. So here's the end. And at the end, I'm going to do a couple things. First off, National Wine School, if you are interested in certification, it's offered through universities, wine schools, but also online, which are exceptional. I'm one of the instructors. Alana is as well. Highly recommend them. Go to wineschool.us if you are interested. I'm going to throw this to you.
Yeah, and folks, if you happen to be in the Philadelphia area, the tri-state area, stop by the Wine School of Philadelphia to catch a class with either my partner Keith or myself.
Yep, always. And I am actually this hyper, actually usually more so. I usually drink way more coffee and then just, whew. I'm thinking next week, or at least next episode, I'm thinking about what rules to break. Now, we got the myths.
We got the myths.
So
okay.
let's do rule breaking next week.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Okay, cool.
That sounds
Cool,
good.
cool.
We'll roll right into that.
All right.
All right, my friends, if you've enjoyed this, please rate, review, and subscribe. If you have some comments for us, please be nice and leave them in the comments. Until next time, cheers.
Hey, guys, cheers.